Hi everyone, doing a little tag video today, and this is the 25 things you don't know about me tag, or I think the way I'm going to phrase this is 25 things you might not know about me, because I'm sure I'm here and there maybe said a few of these things, especially with doing the Beauty Broadcast live show. Those of you who watch that probably know the most about me because we just get off on a lot of random topics and you never know what's going to come up, but in general, I really tried to dig deep with this and tried to come up with some things that I really feel like I don't talk about. Some of these things kind of go back to my childhood. Some are, just current little quirky things that maybe you don't know about. And if you're a video maker or a blogger, I think this would totally be a fun thing to do on a written blog as well. So feel free to do it. I tag you. First thing, number one, I was born in Iowa. I am from Illinois. I've lived in Illinois all my life, but we're from Western Illinois, my family, so actually one of the nearest hospitals was across the Mississippi in Iowa, so I was actually born in Iowa. The first childhood pet, or the first pet that my family had that I remember when I was a little kid, was a basset hound named Alex. Big dog. Number three, my dad was my principal from kindergarten through 8th grade. So you can imagine once kids are like old enough to start realizing what the principal is, who the principal is, and what he does, I didn't make a whole lot of friends that way. But the truth is my dad was and continues to be awesome, so that was a good thing. Okay, number four, when I was in 5th grade track, keep in mind I'm like 5 feet tall now, so back then I was probably like 4 feet tall and really skinny. They had me doing shot put as my field event. Yes, big heavy ball in this little tiny kid's hand, shot put. We were traveling around and going to track meets and competing, and I was doing that, and I remembered getting second to last and feeling very good about it. It was kind of like they wanted everybody, not only doing like running of some sort, but they also wanted you to learn a field event. And let's face it, long jump and high jump and discus weren't exactly my friends either. Number five, I can do one-arm push-ups. I was inspired to learn to do that after watching G.I. Jane. Number six, I did not like gravy as a child or any gravy type sauces, like I remember the thick sauce and beef stew when they would serve it in the cafeteria. It's like, couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle gravy. Didn't like mashed potatoes either for a long time. Now I like both. Number seven, and this is something I have never mentioned anywhere, I don't think, on any video, but I have something called known as hip dysplasia, I believe that's what it's called, and we figured this out around the time I was in 5th or 6th grade, and basically my left hip is not exactly where it's supposed to be, and I think it's been that way all my life. Hips go in sockets, and it's just not quite in the right place, but it's something, nobody would really know that I have this. It's appearance wise, you wouldn't know anything about it. And I think kind of back when I was assessed, when they first realized it was there, they said that there's enough kind of like muscle wrapped around there for it not to really cause a problem. But from there on out, I was not really supposed to do any long distance running, anything that would just create that repeated impact with the ground would not be real good for it. It's nothing that really causes me pain unless I do get into a situation where I've got to walk like a long ways, but that usually doesn't happen very often. So I mean, it's just something that's there. It's part of me. Number eight, I learned the words to Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody as a child. My sister taught me that. She taught me a lot of songs. I actually have a big singing voice. And I know I jokingly kind of maybe sing here and there sometimes on Beauty Broadcast Live, but I really have a big voice. Number nine, I still sleep with a stuffed animal. I just like the feeling, and if I'm going somewhere, if I'm staying somewhere else or staying in a hotel, I love the feeling of having some sort of pillow or something like up next to me. So I still have I have a bear right now that Tyler gave me for Valentine's Day a couple years ago, and I just still keep that in the bed. Number 10, I sometimes get migraine headaches, and I get them with the full spectrum of symptoms. My dad gets these sometimes too, and I don't get them that often, but when I do, I definitely know I'm getting them because my vision will get blurred in one eye. I start to, you know, of course the headache symptom usually sets in, which is pretty painful, but I won't always be able to like find the right words to say. Like I'll be talking, but I may not be able to just think of the right word, or I might say it wrong, or I just might not make sense at all. Sometimes just, you know, if I do have to be doing something, or I'm in the midst of doing something and the vision starts to get blurry, I can start to feel sick to my stomach. I think I have thrown up a time or two when I've had these headaches. I remember being kind of nervous about getting them and being involved with the news and being worried about like, what if something like that starts to set in and I'm out reporting or I'm anchoring and people don't understand, you know? And I remember, you may remember, it was in the headlines not too long ago, maybe the last several years, there was a reporter on and she was talking, she was just not making sense. And I think they came to the determination that it was a migraine. And I just kind of got that fear in me that maybe that'll happen to me someday. But I have gotten a migraine like right after the newscast. And sometimes if you're already in a state where I guess, you know, your body is gonna have one of these things, and then sometimes looking at bright lights can trigger it. And of course there's lots of bright lights on the set. So I remember getting one like right after a newscast, and I of course had to go home. You just have to lay down and be in the dark. And I think I've had one shortly before a newscast as well, but it never really fell in that time, thank goodness, where, you know, I would have to have that and be on air. Number 11, I hate being hot while sleeping. I do not like I oftentimes have to kick my feet out of the, you know, the end of the bed. I don't like my feet being hot. I just don't like feeling hot. And it's interesting because Tyler's body is like a space heater. He puts out heat like crazy. Like he just puts out heat. It's great in the wintertime, but I can really get hot in the summer. Number 12. Well, this is something I'm really ashamed of. Back in fourth grade was just not my year, and I got some not so good grades on a report card. I was used to getting all A's, okay? And then fourth grade rolled around and I had like a B- on a midterm, A-. Like I just had some grades that kind of all of a sudden weren't what I was used to getting and weren't what I was used to bringing home to mom. Hey, look. And so I got that midterm, and there was even a comment, like some kind of comment that the teacher wrote. It looked like, you know, I was slipping in social studies or something like that. So I seemed to have some kind of indication before I even got this midterm that the grades weren't going to be great. So when they were handed out, I was prepared with several pens in my backpack. In the midst of my walk home from school, there's like this community clubhouse place. And so I planned that I would stop there, I would get out a pen, and I would change the grades, and I would also change the comment. Don't ask me how a little fourth grader who had never done this before had the skills to do this, but I successfully changed it and brought it home to mom, and she could not tell the difference. And of course I get the immediate sick feeling in the pit of my stomach when you hand her something and, oh, you're doing such a good job, oh wow, I'm so proud of you. No, I changed the grade. I was physically ill for several days. So here I am out of school knowing I changed the midterm. It's got to get signed and get taken back to the teacher. Duh, Emily, aren't you thinking it's got to get changed? The teacher's going to see it again. You know, it's got to get changed back again. She's going to notice. Over the course of the couple days I was out sick from school, the teacher had called and said, you know, we need to get that back. And so my dad, like, oh, no problem, takes it, signs it, takes it back. And then it all comes down that I changed it, and I felt so bad. I just can't believe little fourth grade me would do something like that, not just man up and take it. I guess I just didn't want to disappoint, but needless to say, I never changed anything again. Number 13, I have a tattoo. It is a tiny pink megaphone. I got it when I was in college. I cheered for years. I cheered since 7th grade. Cheerleading was my big thing. Still glad I have it. You know, that was my life for a point in time. And I put it kind of near my left hip area, and that was kind of like my little symbol of strength. You know, like even though I've had this hip issue for pretty much all my life, I was still able to go and be active and be a college cheerleader and tumble and do everything I needed to do. So it was somewhat symbolic in that way, but I don't want to get too deep here. I mean, I was with a bunch of girls and we went and got tattoos. It was college. Number 14, I had my belly button pierced. That was also college. Number 15, of all of those things I've just spoken about, my mom was most concerned when I went for my next piercing venture, which was an extra hole in each ear. It was like, oh, get the tattoo, didn't really care that much, kind of laughed about it. Got the belly button pierced, didn't really care much about that. Got extra holes in each ear. Somebody's got to stop this girl. It was funny because we were going to one of Tyler's football games, and me and my sister Pup were in the back seat, and Pup spotted that I had the extra hole and I had little studs in there, and so she was like, oh, I didn't know you did that. And then Mom turns around, you did what? I wasn't like going crazy or anything. I mean, I was a good student. I don't know, started piercing stuff. Number 16, I pretty much had a unibrow in my preteen days. I had a lot of hair right in here. Like, it wasn't as thick or as dark as like the hair on my eyebrows, but it was like, people thought it was cute and funny. My mom or my dad would kind of like go like that, like, oh, it's so cute. Like, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, unibrows aren't cute on anyone. Why was I allowed to have that? And like I said, it wasn't full on unibrow, but I knew that that was there. But I do have to pluck it. To this day, I do have to pluck that area to keep it unibrow free. Number 17, I chose the communications major where I went to school over a PR major. The deciding factor was that the communications major did not require any math classes. The PR major did require one math class. That communications major was what ultimately put me on the path to majoring in media communication and getting into news and stuff like that. So isn't that funny how that works? Number 18, when I was little, I would spend a lot of time swinging. We had a swing hanging from a tree in the front yard, and I would watch cars go by, and I would kind of memorize the make and model of the cars. So even as a young child, I had a good knowledge of pretty much like what every car was. If we would go driving somewhere, I would spot a car and I would, know that that was a, Pontiac Grand Prix or whatever it was. Like, I knew them all from sitting there on the swing. Number 19, I am a very strong swimmer. I took swimming lessons throughout most of my childhood. I was very scared at first. I remember like jumping off the diving boards and jumping into the deep end. Oh my gosh. But I got over that, became a really strong swimmer. There was kind of a point where I could have pursued becoming a lifeguard. I'd gotten to that point with my like swimming lessons and everything like that, but I chose to end up working at the YMCA where I taught tumbling and gymnastics to little kids and stuff. But I love to swim. Talk about something that will build up your arms, your shoulders, your back like none other swimming will. Number 20, I hate drifters. I call them drifters, people who can't stay in their lane. Like if you're driving on the interstate and you're getting ready to pass somebody and they just kind of seem to want to be able to weave like all over their lane and almost over the dotted line in between. I can't handle these people. I've actually come up with a whole idea that there should be something called a VIP lane in traffic, and like all the really good drivers should get access to that, and then there should be a buffer lane between the VIP and the drifters. I am crazy. Let's all just get that. But I have never been in a situation where a drifter has actually totally drifted over and like sideswiped me. But can't you just like stay in there and not make people wonder if you're gonna drift over? Like the 5 o'clock somewhere song says, I always tell Tyler, keep it between the navigational beacons, Number 21, I love nicknames. I have nicknames for everything. Pets have always had multiple nicknames. Cupcake has tons of nicknames. Tyler has tons of nicknames. Family, friends, all nicknamed. Number 22, my mom is the only person who has ever cut my hair. Ever. Number 23, when I was very young, I remember sitting around with my mom and my sister, and I would have them flip to a random page in the JCPenney catalog, the big JCPenney catalog, and have them flip it open and point to something, and then I would sell them that item QVC style. Like I would make up a whole spiel about that item and pretend I was a QVC host. Number 24, I get my best ideas in the shower. When I am just showering, I'm getting all kinds of great thoughts. I don't know why that moment, but I seem to always come out of the shower and I have something to like jot down on a Post-it note because I was like, it's the video idea or it's just some random thing that I want to do, and I jot it down. And drum roll please, number 25. I really hit a wall when I got to number 25. I could not think of one more thing, but finally I did. And I think it's something I may have mentioned on Beauty Broadcast Live, but I used to eat lip balm. I actually recently bought from Avon the type of lip balm I used to eat as a child, and no, I am not tempted to eat this anymore, but this is the Avon Flavor Savers Cherry kind. This is one of the few lip balms that not only, oh, it's got that same smell, it has a really strong, sweet, fruity scent, but it has a lot of taste. And I remember going up into my neighbor's treehouse and I would eat this and perhaps other kinds of lip balm, but this was the most strongest, most identifiable scent that I would have. So, sorry, Mom. I think this lasted a lot longer than I expected it to, but I hope you enjoyed and are not too disturbed by my 25 things you might not know about me. If you would like to do this, post a video response, that'd be great. Do it on your blog, that would be cool too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.